Forget everything you thought you knew about ancient economies. The Mughal Empire wasn't just about opulent palaces and legendary battles. It was a sophisticated financial powerhouse. Discover the groundbreaking economic systems, from revolutionary tax policies to bustling global trade networks, that allowed this empire to thrive for centuries and leave an indelible mark on history. Imagine a subcontinent before the Mughals, diverse, vibrant, but fractured. Independent kingdoms rose and fell in dizzying succession. Currencies varied from region to region, taxation was inconsistent, and trade networks were vulnerable to constant warfare. In short, India before the 16th century was an economic patchwork quilt, rich in resources but lacking a unifying thread to stitch it all together. Then came a Central Asian prince, Babur. To many, he was just another conqueror in a long line of invaders. But Babur's vision went beyond plunder and conquest. He sought permanence. He understood that an empire is sustained not by swords but by systems. His early rule, though brief, laid the groundwork for a more organized form of governance, one that would later blossom under his successors. After Babur, the empire passed to his son Humayun, a dreamer, more scholar than soldier. His reign was turbulent, interrupted by exile and rivalry. Yet even in his struggle, seeds of reform were planted. During his exile, Humayun encountered the efficient administration of the Persian Safavids and learned invaluable lessons about bureaucratic governance and fiscal order, lessons he brought back to India. But perhaps the most critical precursor to Mughal economic brilliance came not from a Mughal at all, but from Sher Shah Suri, the Afghan ruler who briefly dethroned Humayun. Sher Shah revolutionized land revenue assessment, standardized coinage, and improved infrastructure, especially through the creation of the Grand Trunk Road, a highway connecting Bengal to the northwest frontiers. It became a vital artery for trade and administration, later perfected by the Mughals. When Humayun's son Akbar inherited the throne, he didn't start from scratch. He built upon these early foundations, and what followed was nothing short of an economic revolution. If there was a single ruler who turned the Mughal Empire into an economic marvel, it was Akbar the Great. Unlike his predecessors, Akbar understood that lasting power depended on stability and inclusion, not mere conquest. His genius lay in recognizing the intricate relationship between governance, economy, and the everyday lives of his subjects. Central to this transformation was his brilliant finance minister, Akbar Todar Mal. Together, they crafted one of the most sophisticated revenue systems in pre-modern history, the Dasala system. Under this system, land was carefully surveyed and categorized according to fertility and crop yield. Taxes were standardized at 1/3 of the average produce value, calculated over 10 years. This wasn't arbitrary. Farmers now had predictability. Gone were the days of unpredictable levies or exploitative collectors. The Mughal state had created a fair, transparent, and efficient taxation model that ensured both state revenue and agricultural prosperity. But Akbar didn't stop there. The empire's economic arteries needed a lifeblood of trust and uniformity, and that came through a standardized currency system. Gone were the dozens of local coins of varying purity and weight. In their place came 3 standardized coins: the copper dam, the silver rupee, and the gold mohur. For the first time, a merchant in Bengal could trade with a jeweler in Lahore or a spice dealer in Gujarat without worrying about fluctuating currency values. This monetary stability fostered immense commercial growth and integrated the Mughal economy into a single, cohesive system. Akbar's policies not only enriched the state but also empowered the people. Trade flourished, markets stabilized, and agriculture expanded. The Mughal heartland became one of the most productive regions in the world, drawing in artisans, scholars, and traders from across Asia and Europe. Akbar's economic vision turned his empire into a magnet for prosperity, an India where wealth wasn't hoarded by a few, but generated through a system that encouraged productivity and fairness. When Jahangir ascended the throne, he inherited not just an empire of vast territory, but one of immense wealth. The Mughal economy was thriving, and under his and Shah Jahan's reigns, it reached dazzling heights of cultural and commercial sophistication. By the 17th century, India was the world's leading producer of textiles, spices, and precious goods. Its ports, Surat, Cambay, Masulipatam, and Hooghly, were bustling with ships from the Portuguese, Dutch, English, and Armenians. Mughal India wasn't isolated, it was deeply connected to global trade networks stretching from London to the Red Sea, from Central Asia to Southeast Asia. Yet, this was no accidental prosperity. Jahangir and Shah Jahan nurtured trade through strategic policies and infrastructure investment. They ensured safe travel by maintaining roads and caravanserais, issued firmans, royal decrees, to protect merchants, and fostered a cosmopolitan atmosphere in urban centers. The emperors also became patrons of art and architecture, but this wasn't just about aesthetics, it was economic stimulus. The construction of the Taj Mahal, the Red Fort, and countless mosques and gardens created employment for thousands of artisans, laborers, and craftsmen. It spurred demand for materials, from marble in Rajasthan to carpets in Kashmir. Entire industries flourished to serve imperial commissions. Urban centers like Agra, Lahore, and Delhi transformed into vibrant metropolises, each specializing in distinct crafts. Textile weaving, metalwork, gemstone carving, and miniature painting turned into thriving urban industries. Markets became centers of innovation, with artisans experimenting with new techniques influenced by Persian, Central Asian, and Indian traditions. This blend of trade, art, and urbanization created a self-reinforcing cycle. Wealth fueled culture, culture fueled demand, and demand fueled trade. The Mughal economy wasn't just rich, it was dynamic, diverse, and deeply creative. By the time Aurangzeb came to power in 1658, the Mughal Empire was at its zenith, sprawling from the Hindu Kush to the Deccan, commanding immense wealth and manpower. Yet beneath the glittering surface, cracks had begun to form. Aurangzeb's reign was marked by relentless military expansion. His long and costly campaigns in the Deccan drained the treasury and stretched the empire's administrative machinery thin. The once prosperous revenue system, built on peace and agricultural productivity, now struggled to sustain the empire's military ambitions. The land revenue assessments grew harsher as war expenses mounted. Farmers, once beneficiaries of a fair taxation system, began to suffer under the pressure of increased demands. The agricultural base, foundation of the Mughal economy, started to weaken. Furthermore, Aurangzeb's religious conservatism alienated many of the merchant and artisan communities that had thrived under his predecessors. Trade continued, but the atmosphere of cosmopolitan openness that had once defined the empire began to fade. The empire still possessed immense wealth, its treasuries overflowed with gold and silver from international trade, but its economic vitality was waning. The state was consuming more than it created. Regional powers like the Marathas and Rajputs began asserting autonomy, disrupting trade routes and revenue networks. Aurangzeb's policies, though intended to strengthen imperial authority, ironically set the stage for its fragmentation. The Mughal economy, once the envy of the world, began to strain under the weight of its own expansion. When the Mughal Empire finally declined in the 18th century, it left behind more than monuments. It left a blueprint for governance and economic management that shaped India for centuries to come. The British, when they established their colonial administration, borrowed heavily from Mughal systems. The land revenue structures, record-keeping practices, and currency standardisation were directly inspired by Mughal precedents. Even the British permanent settlement and modern land surveys trace their roots back to Todar Mal's meticulous methods. In a broader sense, the Mughal economic model pioneered ideas that still resonate today. Standardised currency as a foundation for national trade. Tax rationalisation to ensure fairness and predictability. Public infrastructure investment as a means of stimulating commerce. And above all, the recognition that cultural diversity and economic inclusivity can coexist and indeed strengthen one another. The Mughals demonstrated that an economy thrives not merely on wealth, but on systems, on trust, fairness, and adaptability. They transformed India from a fragmented landscape into one of the richest and most interconnected economies of its age. Their story serves as both inspiration and warning. Innovation and inclusivity built their empire, but unchecked expansion and rigidity unraveled it. Today, as modern nations grapple with balancing growth, sustainability, and social harmony, the Mughal experience offers a timeless lesson. Economic power endures only when it evolves with the people it serves. The Mughal Empire's legacy isn't confined to marble mausoleums or fading manuscripts. It lives on in the very structure of modern India's economy. From the rupee in your pocket to the land records that define ownership, echoes of Akbar, Todar Mal, and the visionary system they built still shape the subcontinent's economic heartbeat. And perhaps, in understanding their story, we uncover not just the past, but the enduring architecture of prosperity itself.